back to They Love. Today we are reviewing Batman, The Long Halloween, both part one and part two, and I'm here with Matt.
Hey
Uh,
guys. So I just want to ask you for the first one, what were your overall thoughts about these movies?
I was a bit nervous. I just want to say that when I was going in to watch the movies, especially part one and actually especially part two, because I heard they made some changes. But overall, I really did, even with the changes they made, I really did enjoy the movie. I enjoyed the animation, the voice work, I really liked. So I had a good time watching these movies. I made sure to watch them as a real movie night in my house, lights off, popcorn,
Right
everything.
on.
Made it a whole event. So
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it.
So my next question for you is, had you read the comic book before watching these movies?
Yes, and but I actually meant to reread it before that this happened, but I did not have time. So
Me and you are in the same boat.
yeah. So you have read it?
I have.
Yeah,
And
but
did you
man,
like it?
it's like the comic or the
The
adaptation into
comic book.
this. Yeah, when I've actually first read that, I think it was hard for me to get through, but I remember someone had recommended the Long Halloween to me. So like, you know what? No, it's Batman. I love Batman. I have to read this.
Right on.
But I do enjoy a good mystery, even though I'm not the best detective. So I didn't really know anything until the very
I Yeah, I totally agree. Well, I mean, for anybody out there that doesn't know, The Long Halloween, it was written by Jeff Loeb, and the art was by Tim Sale, and it was 13 issues and everything. And it's such a great comic book. If you have time to read it, I would suggest going to do that because it's really great.
end.
Yeah, and I also read it too. And I remember when I first read it, I was just like, oh, this is because it's got the whole mob thing. And I don't know how you feel about mob, like mob stories to me are just so okay, whatever, bang bang, okay, I got it and everything. You disrespected me and all that stuff. So
Well,
um
with me, I really do enjoy a good mob story. I don't know why. I think I just enjoy mob stories, crime in general. I like one of my favorite movies is Goodfellas, but I also like things like Peaky Blinders, Sons of Anarchy. I just like crime families in
right
general.
on. Right on.
So yeah.
No, I totally get it. I totally get it. So another question that I didn't send to you, but how do you feel about them splitting this into two movies?
Um, Man, I'm not sure how to feel. I mean, because both movies were only about an hour and a half long. And even though, I don't know, because they made some changes to the comic, but at the same time, they, it still felt like they didn't have enough time to do things. I mean, it's an anime movie, and I'm used to the DC anime movies being shorter, like 90 minutes. But I'm wondering, I feel like I just watched part two. I am still wondering if it needed to be two parts, but at the same time, if it was one movie, I feel like it wouldn't have been um, explored enough with the mystery. I feel like it would have been rushed. So I think it's better that it's two parts and how they did it. At least it wasn't a year apart. I was when
Right
they
on.
announced that was going to be two parts. I thought it was going to be way separate. I'm glad it was only about I think a month difference.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. So now in this movie, who was your favorite character?
Well, I am such a Batman fan. I love Batman so much, but I feel like I'm cheating if I say Batman. But
Right on.
I always feel like I'm cheating if anyone says like ask that kind of question with anything and I say Batman.
Right.
But I would say at first I would say my favorite guest appearance was Poison Ivy
Right.
because I just am such a Poison Ivy fan and I wasn't even expecting for her to have like such a I mean for the movie I wasn't expecting her role to be that not a large role, but her time in the movie, I thought it was gonna be 5 minutes. But favorite character, if it's not Batman, I guess I would say Catwoman because I'm also a Catwoman fan, and I think she also had a larger role here.
Yeah,
And I really like Selena, and I liked her relationship with Bruce.
I agree. Yeah, no, I love Catwoman too. She's so great. My favorite character for this was Two-Face. I liked seeing the origin story of it all, and I liked seeing how he just kind of flipped the switch. and I like seeing that duality. Like I liked it at the beginning when he was all like deciding whether to burn the money or to take it in as evidence and everything, and
Yeah.
Batman was all like just flip the coin kind of thing, and then I liked seeing that progression into evilдom, because I remember when I read the comic book that first when he ends up in the hospital the first time before he becomes Two-Face, I thought that was when he was going to become Two-Face. And
Right,
then he shows up
right.
and he's all pretty boy still. And I was like, oh, okay. So he's not Two-Face in this. And then later on, he becomes Two-Face. So
Mhm.
I do like, I think Two-Face was my favorite for this one.
Mm.
So how do you feel about this animation style that DC has gone to with their movies?
Well, I do have to be honest, when I'm watching the trailers for these movies, I'm not quite convinced on how they look. It isn't really until I sit down and watch the movie, especially at least with both part one and part two for Long Halloween. I actually really enjoyed this animation, personally, me, because I don't know, something about it was so unique, but at the same time, it kind of felt like, it actually felt like a comic book in a way, but like a different style of comic book that there is today, which is true to form for this comic.
Absolutely. Yeah. I also liked it. And I agree with you. You brought up the trailers, and as soon as you said that, I was like, we're in the same boat, because when I watched the trailers, I was like, this looks horribly animated. But then I watched the movies and I'm like, I really like this style of animation. I like the hard lines. I like that the
Mm.
characters have that black line, that solid black line around them. I really like this form of animation that they've gone to. Now, I'm going to ask you this question, but you already and you already knew the answer if you read the comic books. Did you guess who the holiday killer was?
Oh, well, I guess, well, I've already read the comic. I was
Mm.
actually guessing. My only guess was watching the movie. I wasn't sure if they would change what happened from the comic, which they did.
Yeah,
So,
they did.
so the whole time I'm like guessing, okay, is this what I think it's going to be? Because I know what's supposed to happen, but they can always change it because they're adapting it, but they can make changes as well. They don't have to stick, 100%. So I would say yes and no because I was just going through my own knowledge, but I would say no because wasn't guessing that they would make a change. Honestly, I wasn't looking from that point of view.
Right on. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
How did you feel about the change with the killer, the holiday killer?
I actually did not. I wonder how other people feel because I actually did not mind the change. I was a bit nervous because I forgot who reported this, but I saw a change that one of the creators, a headline that one of the creators just said that they were, oh, there's some big change at the end. And it made me super nervous because there's been other movies where they made a change. And I'm like, okay, this is not good. What is this? I'm thinking of the Killing Joke with
Right
a
on.
background and everything. But I'm
Go
like,
right on.
sometimes sometimes they make changes. I'm like, this is not necessary, especially when the long Halloween is so good already.
Hmm.
But with this change and how they made who the killer was, basically, it made sense to me. Like going back, I feel like if I had been able to watch, even part two more times, I feel like you could have put the pieces together. It didn't come out of nowhere. It made sense. The hints were thrown at you. The clues were there.
Right on. Yeah. What were some things that you really liked about both movies?
Um, okay, this is random, but I mean, well, one thing I liked about both movies, I have to mention before I forget, but I actually really liked just Knuckles as the voice for Batman and Bruce Wayne. Because I was kind of a bit scared I would be a bit biased towards him because I am a Supernatural fan, but especially by part two, I really loved his voice work. I thought he was great. Oh my
Right
gosh. I
on.
mean,
Yeah.
the whole voice cast is great, but I was very impressed by just Knuckles. Um, and I love the animation style of both movies, but I do love how both, I mean, it's supposed to be this way, but it's a noir type of feel. And I feel like both part one and part two captured captured that whole type of feeling well. And
Right on.
neither one felt like, okay, why wasn't this in part one? Or why wasn't this just one movie? Both were really paced well. So I think I just appreciate them overall as films.
Right on.
I mean, um, well, for both the but actually, maybe because I'm just a fan of Poison Ivy, I liked her role in part two. At least I have part two more on the mind, but I
I
liked her
agree.
role
I'm there
there.
with you.
Yeah, and man, but at the same time, I don't know. I feel like if I had to choose which part I like more, it's strange, but I would say part one because as a oh man, I just loved watching that movie in the darkness with the crime feeling, with the new neo noir. Like I think it was just put together so well with the mystery. And even though it's not complete technically, because there is a part two, there's just something so special about part one. I feel like more people may like part two, but I like part one more, a bit more. I like both of them.
Right on. What were some things that you didn't like about this movies? Sorry.
Well, there were a couple things. Well, I'm not sure if I didn't necessarily like this, but because I liked Catwoman's role, maybe because I just like Catwoman in general, but I like Catwoman's role in the movie. But I feel like because man, I haven't read the comics in a while, but I feel like did she have as big as a role in the comics or where she reveals herself to Batman? Did she even know that Batman was Bruce? I can't even
I don't
remember.
I don't remember off the top of my head, but I don't think she played a bigger role in the comic books. But again, I'm the same as you. I haven't read it in so long. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
because I'm
yeah.
still going back and forth. Like, do I want Selena to know Bruce's Batman at this time? I don't know.
Was there anything else that you liked about these movies?
Honestly, there's well, I because you said your favorite character was Two-Face Harvey Dent, and I
Mm-hmm.
really did like Harvey Dent here and seeing his whole, I guess, transformation. And even though I think everyone was expecting in part one when he was injured, but I think they definitely did that intentionally when you expect him to turn, and of course it's
Right on.
Two-Face, but that wasn't the time to be Two-Face.
How do you feel
But
about go ahead. Sorry.
and then they also had I like how they had the hallucination scene with Scarecrow.
Yeah.
And this is in part two with Bruce, but it's actually, I think, Catwoman who finds him after that point. I like that sequence.
Right on. How do you feel about Josh Duhamel doing Harvey Dent's voice?
I liked his, I liked most of there was no one who stood out as bad to me, but I liked his voice work.
Right on. I wanted to ask you, I probably should have asked you at the beginning, but so DC Animation, they've done a lot of Jeff Loeb adaptations. Oh, well, they did Hush and everything. Did you like Hush?
I thought it was fine.
And then they also did The Killing Joke. How do you feel about that?
Oh, I mean, I think with both Hush and Killing Joke, I enjoyed it at first, but then those are examples where I didn't really like the changes, or what the Killing Joke in particular. I just keep on thinking about Batgirl. Oh man, but
By the way, that one was
um,
written by Alan Moore. Sorry, I don't want anybody to get mad at me because I said Jeff Loeb. He did not write
mhm.
that. But continue with your thought. I apologize.
Oh yeah, but I was just saying that. Wait, the question was whether I just like them, right? I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
did you like
I
those
lost my train of thought.
adaptations?
I thought they were I liked them, but I would say I did not like them as much as I like this, like Batman the Long Halloween Part One and Two.
Right on. Now, since they've adapted those two comic books, those graphic novels, the Dark Knight or the Dark Victory is the follow up to Long Halloween. Do you think they should adapt the Dark Victory into a movie, an animated
Um,
movie?
Honestly, I would wonder how they would do that. I mean, because they have to adapt this into two parts. Honestly, I'm open to it because I do like DC animation and I kind of trust the whole department more than live action at this point. So I'm open to Dark Victory. Let's
Right
just
on.
say it
Right
depends
on.
on who's behind it. I guess if it's the same team.
Right on. Do you think that DC animation is better at adapting comics, or do you think are better at coming up with their own original stories for these animated movies?
Man, it's hard. I honestly think it's a mix because it depends on the original story and it also depends on what comic they're adapting and who is adapting it and then what are they changing? Are they minor changes? You know, are they like big changes, but do they make sense and why, how? So it really just all depends because I really do like when they make original stories, but at the same time, I do enjoy when they adapt comics I like. So
Right
it's
on.
just 50-50 for
Right
me.
on. So, what in that sense, what do you think would be a good comic that they could adapt into a movie?
I think honestly, because I've been thinking about this, I've been thinking about this for a while. And I don't know if this would be, I don't know if this could happen, but the first thing that actually popped into my head was I don't know, Kingdom Come. Have you I think
Hmm.
pretty much should. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I thought I mean I thought Kingdom Come could be an interesting movie. You have a older generation of heroes, you have the younger kind of generation or like the more violent
Right
generation. I hope
on.
this will be a more mature movie, but you have like the older generation versus the younger generation, and like you have Superman who was in seclusion and comes back. Like I just like the whole. I like Kingdom Come. I would. It would be interesting to see an anime movie for that.
Right on. I agree. Kingdom Come would be a really good one.
So overall, man, I really did enjoy both Batman and Long Halloween Part One and Part Two. I think I do enjoy Part One a bit more, but I love you know, mob crime stories like that. And also since I have read this comic, even though it's been a long time, I did enjoy how they adapted it. And I think the changes that they made were made with thought and care and love. And I love the voice cast and I love the animation. So I think anyone, whether you're a fan of Batman or you're not, or you're a fan of mystery, I think you would love this movie.
Right on. I agree. I agree.
Okay, thank you for watching. Remember to subscribe to the channel, share this, and I'll see you guys later.
Bye.